Okay, guys. I'm coughing a lot. Just excuse me. So this person sent me a Reddit message that he's playing Techies and he would like to get some coach on it. So let me just read it over. Just basic introduction of himself or herself as a player. When you're giving me tips on how to improve, please remember that I'm not aiming to become a pro. Only a silver 4K. Maybe if I became a more player, as long as respectful, I'll be very happy to listen to all of your criticism, no matter how harsh they may be. I play Dota to challenge myself intellectually. Very good. I actually envy this type of mentality where, like, you know, it's not we're not like addicted to MMR. We're not MMR junkie, but this guy is actually focused on his own goal. So I mean, I like it. List of replays. I chose the first one first because just the first one. I basically only knew the strategy of one of the players in this party. So we played party game. Laning phase, I wanted to make something to happen, but in being overly aggressive and not understanding where the other players, teammates, and allies were, I ended up suiciding or feeding too much. Okay. Yes. Let's look at this replay. Take his game. I've never coached anyone playing Techies, so I'm kind of excited, but at the same time a little worried about it. I really don't want to misinform you or anything, because I'm not a Techies player. I've only played him like maybe like 5 games in my life, because I'm not really a Techies player. But obviously I do know some things in Dota, so I'll try to just teach you to my best knowledge, as always. Okay, so you have Crystal Maiden and Spectre. Doom is likely to be an offlane, and it seems like this guy's going middle. Shadow Demon is going mid. That's the only choice, right? Is Spectre top, Crystal Maiden is support, Doom is the offlane, and so there's no one else that can go mid. So this guy is playing mid. Okay, wow, this looks fun. Oh, so this is your friend that you mentioned. Okay. I mean, Shadow Demon mid was fine at some point that I remember like a few years ago, but it really depends. So but the main focus is on you right now. So from the way I see it, what you're trying to do is I think you're trying to start by hitting level 2 as soon as the jungle spawn. So here's something that I'm going to tell you. So I know your strategy. I think I do. So by just planting down mines like this, you're trying to just hit level 2, right? And go to your off lane. And by having 1 point in your mines, in the red mine, and having another point in maybe suicide, right? Blast off is gonna be your spell level 2. You do have some advantage in the off lane, I get it. But here's the thing that I want to talk about. Because when you're playing a support hero, like whether you're playing push 4 or push 5, even off lane can sometimes be supported. So it matters to everyone that is willing to play support or supporty. You need to think about actually just give more doubts before choosing your lane. What is going to happen to your safe lane carry? I don't care about your mid. I mean, you should start carrying, but this should be your first priority out of everyone. What is going to happen? So from the way that I see it, you're gonna do this, get level 2, and you're just gonna head onto the off lane. That's what I predict you're gonna do, because that's our strategy. But Doom is already, doing this, right? Trying to pull this camp. He can make the double wave by, just spending more time here, or he can even drag it to his own tower and just get the first save safely. So he hits level 2 as well. So this guy's doing that. So when you're playing Techies or just any hero, you should have just realize that Doom is somewhat capable of soloing this lane. I hope I'm making sense here. Doom is a weak, I mean, it really depends, but I don't want to call him a weak offlaner. But in our pub games, generally it is really easy for Doom to find level 2. So I would say whenever you're playing with someone like Doom, just let him play solo lane. Unless he is really specifically asking for you to stay in the bottom lane for some reason, like stay next to me until I hit level 2, like unless he makes specific requests, just let him solo the lane. This guy is totally fine as solo most of the time. But Spectre, on the other hand, if you look at level 1 Spectre, 48 base damage, 560 health. It's like, this is a baby, right? You gotta babysit him. This is the definition of baby, and that is why you need a babysitter like Crystal Maiden. But another problem is Spectre is a really bad hero at level 1. He really can't do anything. He's like as bad as level 1 Slug or level 1 Void. Another problem here is that Crystal Maiden, while everyone that's playing Dota thinks that she is a support and therefore she can support in the lane, but she's not. She's not a lane support. This is a misconception where that in our pub games, they just pick Crystal Maiden and just start to support the lane, while there really is no choice now that the jungle got nerfed and then every jungle camp spawns in at 1 minute. There really is no choice for Crystal Maiden but to sustain the lane. But what I'm saying is Crystal Maiden is not a strong lane supporter, not as strong as Witch Doctor, Asian Apparition, you know, or even Jakiro, or even Shadow Demon. You know, they are actually legitimate supports that can support the lane. But if you think about Crystal Maiden, she cannot support the lane because her right click damage is very low and her cast mansion is really bad, and very likely she's not going to have any ability to zone out the offlaner. Like, you can't. So when Void comes out with 2 sets of Tangle, Stat Shield, and Healing Self, and Crystal Maiden is typically a support that wants to start with the clarity, so therefore she doesn't really bring that many vision. I don't even agree with this item, but even though she brings a lot of vision, she just cannot trade. Like, she just cannot trade efficiently with the offlaner. That is the reason why she is not a lane supporter. So in this game, my conclusion is, in short, I don't think you should have done this. I don't think you should be doing this. So you're gonna do this, and my prediction is you're gonna go here. But I don't think this is. I think this is the wrong move. So by getting the Venom Orb, when I saw you getting the Venom Orb, I thought you were gonna start at the top lane, and I thought you might even get the Blast off at level 1, so that you do have some killing potential against Void. Because if Crystal Maiden, you know, she's gonna get the Frostbite at level 1, right? 99% she's gonna get the Frostbite, which is a good setup with your Blast off, right? And there are Techies that get Blast off level 1, so like, don't do this every game. I used to know a Techies player and he only relied on one strategy, and he just did it every single game. He just did this, and then he's gonna go off and he's gonna fuck around and, you know, just drags the game. But in this game, you should have started at the top. That is my, I think that is just my thought. You really should have started at the top, and by just having the Venom Orb, you know, I know that Techies does not have a really good right click damage, but this guy has a better cast animation than Crystal Maiden and very long right click range. So you plus Crystal Maiden is more than enough to zone out Faceless Void. That is my prediction. And by doing that, what's going to happen is Spectre is going to be granted a really safe farm. And if you guys, if these two supports know what they're doing, they will even give Spectre a solo experience and just completely zone out Void. And to me, that is like game-winning move. And this thing that I'm telling you, like how to try lane efficiently, that doesn't really happen up until you reach like somewhere near Divine 5. That really doesn't happen. There has to be 2 supports that do know what they're doing, plus a carry player who does know how to maintain the lane equilibrium. So like, there are some, you know, like circumstances and conditions that has to be met up, but you just have to do the right thing as a support, right? And if I were you, and if I was playing Techie, I mean, I like playing goofy hero. Naturally, I find myself sometimes a troll, like I like doing like something very weird and just walk around. So I like doing that. So I used to play Techies a few games, but my favorite strategy was that since my personality when I play support is I support the safe lane. Every game I support this guy. That is my personality. When I play support, I just support my safe lane carry. That is the basics of Dota. If you're not securing this guy's farm, I don't know, I think the fundamentals are wrong. So that's the basics of Dota that I said. Just help this guy almost every game. And if you think these two guys will be safe enough to fight against the enemy offlaner, then you can feel free to do this. And then, you know, go offlane and make space with your offlaner, fuck around with Juggernaut, Lion, and they're gonna have miserable time and you win. But the winning condition in almost every game is by making your Stephen carry very fat and giving him very good early game, uncontested farm if possible. So I mean, I talked a lot, but I think it is really important to have the right mindset in the early game and think about, you know, like every possible scenarios that can happen. That will just make you a better support player, you know, by just having more strategy other than just relying on only one strategy. And that's the problem that I find when I coach like a player that is near 3.7k MMR or 4k flat. Like, yeah, they don't really consider having alternative option when they're playing the game. And when I'm muting myself, it's because I'm coughing, so excuse me for that, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's just watch the game. And again, I'm not gonna watch this game like until the end. It's 1 hour, so I'm not gonna watch that, but I'll be focusing on the first 10 minutes, because, you know, if you're playing support, the first 10 minutes is just literally everything that matters, and the laning stage overs at minute 10. That is usually where the carry players and mid players will start to roam around the map and things get complicated. So I'll focus on the first 10 minutes of the game. So okay, so you're doing this. So you're gonna plant the mines. About a few patches ago, where you could have stacked the red mines, it was much easier, but I guess you can still do this. So this is the first time that I've ever seen anyone doing this in this patch. Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, you timed it right. Okay, that's pretty cool. So because now you cannot stack it anymore, it makes it a little bit tricky. But yeah, I can definitely tell you that you've been playing Techies really like a lot of times, because you knew what you're doing. You timed the thing right, so it was kind of impressive. Okay, you're gonna hit level 2, and you're gonna go. I have tried this strategy before when I played Techies like a really long time ago. First item, Windlace. Alright, aggressive. But you knew you were not gonna kill him, right? So you're just trading, but problem is you didn't even bother to click on Juggernaut and check his item build. Like, you didn't even know whether he had a tango or healing self. So you just did it. So I'm not saying that, you know, like, this is a bad play, but you should start checking people's item. Check Juggernaut's item build, click on him. Right now, you see in the minimap, click on him, get the information. That will just give the better idea what to do in this lane. But yeah, I don't like it, the fact that you're not checking anyone's item. And you're gonna TP back to, okay, so he got cancelled, but you know, that happens, there's nothing I can do. But here's the thing, that why did you, I just want to ask you, if we were doing the live coaching, out of ask you, why did you have to TP here when you could have just suicided? Or yes, the first thing that comes to me, that's just most obvious thing that you should have done, suicide. As the second best option, just if you wanted to just punk out, why not just TP here, right? But again, I'm not gonna blame on you. This is something that does not really happen. Even at my level, people just panic and TP. But remember that in this meta, winning the lane is really important. But when you're making like this kind of mistake, just being not efficient or being a little bit of, you know, just off the play, this will make you lose the lane. And if you lose the lane, you lose the game. That's the meta right now. So just wanted to point out that this was a big mistake. So he got lucky doing by hitting him with the press. So you're gonna suicide, but you just wasted the TP, right? What that means is when you come back to the fountain, you're gonna have to walk back to the lane. So Doom is now sitting alone, and you're just gonna walk back, right? And you don't even have Drunken Boots with 292 movement speed. You're gonna have to move back. So you just bought the tango, but I really think this should have been your first item build, the first starting item. Get more tango. Don't get Windlace unless you have a specific play as Techies. I don't think Windlaze really doesn't do anything. I get it that Over Venom makes you right click and just be annoying, but it really doesn't do. So if you see the off lane, this is what I want you to do exactly at this point. Always focus on the lane equilibrium. So this is something that 4K players are really bad at doing. They don't check the lane equilibrium and they do not decide whether which lane is in need of help or any assistance. If you look at this lane, the lane is getting pushed already, right? And this is because Doom managed to pull at minute 0. I mean, you should have seen that, or you should have known that. So Doom is just getting the first experience. He does not need you here. So unless he dies to this gank, so this is where if Doom dies, you're gonna go here and leech up some experience until he comes back to the fountain. But unless that happens, I don't think Doom really needs you. And if you cannot figure out whether he needs your help or he doesn't, just look at the lane equilibrium. Pay attention to the number of the range grips. 3 range grips. When this has 2 range grips and you have 1, that means the lane is gonna get pushed. And as long as Doom prevents the enemy from chain pulling or double pulling, he is gonna get the lane. So he does not need you. Let's see what happens. He doesn't die, right? Doom does not die that easily. She's really tanky. So I don't really care if you die here. So what you're doing is you're actually causing, you're splitting down the experience between Doom. Well, Doom is low, but he's not even that low. He has the regeneration. So you really want to give Doom solo experience because Doom is the guy who power spikes at level 6, right? Doom gets level 6, he's gonna get the Doom, he walks around the map, and then he casts a Doom. So it's really important to have a concept of providing the solo experience to your team, to your core players when you have to. It's almost every time you have to give the solo experience to the guy. So you're gonna just stand next to him. Even right now, you're just gonna stand next to him, just thinking that, okay, I'm somewhat protecting him, but not really. The enemy team has no tools to kill Doom. They really don't, right? Spirit Breaker is gonna dive in, Lion, stun him, Juggernaut spins, but Doom is not just gonna let that happen. Doom has the skills, right? He has a lot of skills to defend that. He has the mechanism. So right now, again, what you're doing here is just splitting down the experience between Doom. And yeah, I get it that you're being on the Juggernaut, but that's not really a problem. So let's actually watch Spectre now. If you look at this lane, this looks kind of similar. So Void was getting the bounty rune. If you look at the lane here, the lane equilibrium has been made up to this point, right? And as you can see, they have 2 range grips in here, which means Void is gonna get the experience no matter what they do. He will get the experience, right? And Void is level 4. Spectre is level 4. And this is something that you do not want you do not want to see in your game when you're playing support. You really don't want to see this happen, where the offlaner has the same level as your stepping carry. What's going to happen right now is, I expect Void to outlevel Spectre. Within the next 5 minutes, Void will hit level 6 faster, thereby having kill threat against Spectre, because he has a chronosphere. And that's just bad, right? You do not ever want the off lane to have this much easy lane. And the reason why this guy is having much better time than Doom is because he has been getting the solo experience, whereas Doom has been splitting down the experience between you. He's level 5 and you're level 4. And from the way I see it, it is perfectly fine for you to stay at like level 2, level 3, or even at level 2, and just do some other things in the map and give Doom level 5 and even close to 6 at this point, because he made a double wave at the beginning and the laning looked perfect for him, but you were just standing beside him doing nothing. So that wasn't the first point, and I have to actually go back. This is what I want to talk about. So imagine that you started your lane from the top instead of doing this thing, what you're doing here. But just come to the top lane with not Windlace but Herbal Venom. One Clary is fine, but instead of this item, you just get Tangle, one Tangle and possibly Healing Salve, or just two sets of Tangle. It's really depending on your preference. Imagine that you started from here. So Spectre is going to block, Void is going to do the same thing, and Spirit Breaker is staying here. So if Spirit Breaker just stayed here, this lane is dead, so you guys are going to lose the game right away, and the game is over. In my bracket, if this is the laning phase that is starting, the game is already over. There's nothing you can do to give Spectre farm. These two guys will just choke on you guys, and you're gonna lose the game. So if you were staying here, imagine that Techies was staying here, and you had, like I mentioned, Blast Off at level 1 instead of the red mines. Do you think it changes the way the enemy team plays the game? The answer should be yes, right? Crystal Maiden, Frostbite, you, Blast Off, a lot of damage, Spectre, Dagger, and this, you have Creeps, Buffer. Get this guy, right? Click him with the Herbal Venom, slow him, make him suffer. He's gonna lose HP, and at some point he will be close to death if he does make some position mistake, right? That is how you make the kill potential, and that is how you make the difference to the lane, and that is how you win the lane. Void at level 1 is as useless as Spectre. This guy is really weak. He really can't do anything. Same goes for Spirit Breaker. I mean, he's better, he's a little bulky, but you know, I really think you should have started the top lane, and that would have made just everything different. Everything different. Trust me on this. So let's watch what's going to happen here. Lost it. He's gonna cast Frostbite, but nothing really happens. But imagine like you were standing here entire time, standing somewhere like here, just right clicking, Herbal Venom, stand there, right clicking. This guy's low, Frostbite, Dagger, boom, Blast Off, dead, right? He's dead. He's gonna die, or he's gonna punk out. So so this is the match where I have to say, if since I'm coaching you and I have to point out your mistake, you're the reason why this lane is becoming unwinnable, and so Void is now breaking down even, actually more than even. So this is where the offlaner is now winning the lane. 3 range creep here, so they really don't have any choice. Spectre and Crystal Maiden don't really have any choice but to do this. Just push out every wave and have as many creeps as they can, and they could have made it much easier if you were standing here, right? They really have no choice. They really don't. So this is the only thing they're gonna do, and Void will get a lot of experience by just, you know, just letting things happen. If you're standing here, you can do this. You can even go pull. You can side pull after joining out the enemy offlaner, collect a Bounty Rune, and plant your red mines here so that Void cannot come here, and Spirit Breaker cannot come here. You can even put down your red mine defensively here, so you protect Spectre from Spirit Breaker and possible roamer. So I think that looks like much better game plan to me. That seems like a much better game plan, instead of, you know, you really didn't do anything here, right? So that was my impression. I watched for like 5 minutes of the game, but I'm pretty sure that I talked some things that are really useful, that can be useful to you as a support. So I'm not gonna watch this game anymore, because you told me that you are looking forward to have a live coaching session with me, which is definitely doable. I want to do more live coaching with my students, so add me on the Steam. I sent you the message on the Reddit Dota. Check it, and I will add you on the Steam, and I will see you in a few days, and you know, we can just have a really fun time coaching. Okay, so this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. That was me coaching Techies. I want to watch fully, you know, a little more, but I think that is useless. you have a lot to work on in your early game and laning. So I hope this can potentially make you a better player in the future. But yeah, really, we can talk more about it once you add me on the Steam. And I'm looking forward to meet you in the live coaching. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.